G'day everybody, welcome back to another video on the channel. So in this video today I'm going to be going over my tips for round 1 of the 2022 AFL season. This is also a good time to say this is my very first time doing weekly tips on the channel. Really keen to make this a bit of a weekly series going on. Of course a lot of other AFL content creators do this, and I thought let's hop on board this year, start getting a bit of a tipping competition going on, and just having fun each week, seeing who I reckon will win each game. Now most of you lot have probably already known this, but I do have a tipping competition going on for the 2022 season on ESPN Footy Tips. First link in the description down below. Make sure to join up. There's going to be some a lot of fun on the competition this year. Want to get quite a big one going. Of course there's going to be prizes up for grabs, quite a bit of money up for grabs, so make sure to join up. We've got currently around, I think, around 130 members odd, so make sure just join up, and we want to get as many people involved in the weekly tips on the channel and on the tipping comp too. So before we get into the tips, everybody, I just really want to quickly go over how the video formats will work with the weekly tips, and also just quickly go over the tipping comp rules. Starting off with the video format of the weekly tips, I'll just pretty much kick it off with going over with the previous week's tips, going over who won, who lost, how many tips I got correct, and also going over probably the top 10 of the competition ladder. And of course I'll have a look to see who did get a perfect score, tipping every single game correct, and I'll give him a little bit of a shout out. And then after that I'll just do my tips. I don't know if I want to do something different, like I know CARDMAN does big bold calls and all that stuff, but I just really want to keep it short and sweet with my tips, and maybe down the track create a few new little ideas for the tipping videos. But I just want to kick it off by just simply doing that pretty straightforward format, going over previous week's tips and then the tips for that round. And now just quickly over the competition rules. Pretty straightforward how the comp works. You do your tips each week, you're pretty sure you get a point correct for every tip you do get right. I've also added in some custom scoring into the mix to make things more interesting, kicking it off with if you do get a perfect score, so if you tip every single game correct for a round, you get 2 bonus points. And I've also decided to add in 3 joker rounds. How this works is that if you choose a joker round, this pretty much means you get double points. I've got 3 of them, and you can choose them at any time you wish, so it's kind of like a choose wisely kind of situation. You can choose your joker round any time, any round. If you're thinking, let's say round 12's coming up and you're like, hey, I'm feeling good about this round, if you still have a joker available, you can choose that, and there you go, double points. And that's pretty much everything all gone over. So really excited to do the tipping on the channel this year with the weekly tips, and also while there's still time, get involved and join up on the tipping competition. And that's everything gone over, and let's get into our tips for round 1. Rightio, so here we are everybody, my tips for round 1. We got some very interesting matchups for round 1. So kicking it off with the grand final rematch, the D's versus the Doggies. This could really go either way. You've got the Bulldogs, who are really wanting revenge, of course, after their grand final loss against the Demons, whilst Melbourne have pretty much most of the momentum heading into this game. They've come off the back of winning a premiership. There could obviously be thoughts of, will they have a premiership hangover? I highly doubt it. Both teams injury-wise look pretty fit. Either team doesn't really have too many injuries. I know for the Demons they do have Petty out, but they've got Tomlinson coming in, who's pretty much just as good. Having a think about this, I reckon I might just go with the D's. Could be a bit of a seesaw battle affair, could be a cracking grand final rematch, but I'm going to go the safe option, I reckon, with the Demons, and I'll tip them by probably, we'll go around a nice 15 points. And also, considering this game is at the MCG, I think the Demons really want to show what they've produced in front of a massive home crowd, which they've been unable to do because of COVID last year. Moving on now to the Thursday night clash between Carlton and Richmond. Just the typical old season opener, which is not anymore this year. Of course, we all know the Tigers do play very good footy round 1. They always seem to beat Carlton. I think the last time Carlton won the season opener was 2012, I'm pretty sure. You have 2 teams that are most likely on the up. Carlton produced a fantastic performance against the D's in the community series, so a lot of people are hopping on the bandwagon, tipping them. Then on the other hand, you've got the Tigers, who it's a bit of a mixed opinion. People think they're just not going to be back into finals contention. On the other hand, I definitely think they will be. They'll be on the up. Players like Dusty Martin, the experienced players, will really tear it up. They always play fantastic, as I said before, round 1, and I'm going to be going for the Tigers in this affair. Could, be a bit of a closer game because Colin could come really firing out the blocks, but Richmond, they've just done it for so many years now, and I'm going to go with possibly the safe option. Margin, Could be close. It's usually around 25 to 30 points from what I've seen each year, but I might go for around 3-ish goals, 18 points. The Tigers will get it done by. Moving on to the Saints versus the Pies now. This could potentially be a bit of an upset with the Pies getting the job done here. They have some very nice additions to their list. Brand new coach as well. Things look very fresh over there at the Magpies. But then on the other hand, St Kilda, they are definitely a finals contention side. Played a great game of football against Essendon in the Community Series. The Pies could possibly be in the mud with a few players out. I know they do have Kruger out. They do have 𝐼𝐿𝐼𝐿𝐼 back in, but in terms of the defenders side of things, they have lost a few important numbers like Roughhead, Charlie Dean they really wanted to put in, but he's out too. And in my eyes, St Kilda just look like more of that quality side, and I'm going to be tipping them for this game by around 22 points. Now for the Saturday games, we're going to kick it off at a 2:10 game slot with Geelong versus Essendon at the MCG. Both teams for sure have question marks for their 2022 campaigns. Will Geelong slide down a bit whilst Essendon, will they rise up? Of course, we all know Geelong as being a superior team in the home and away season. It's not a 𝐼𝐿𝐼𝐿𝐼𝐿, so that really creates questions inside my head. Will then Essendon have a chance to snag this win? It's going to be a very close game, I feel, and something's just telling me the Bombers will kick it off with a magnificent win over the Cats. I'm going to go for a very close affair here, and I'm going to go Essendon will win the game by 7 points. Now for the Giants versus the Swans, this could potentially be the game of the round. Both clubs play such great football. It's always close encounters. The Swans obviously wanting to bite back with revenge after their unfortunate loss against the Giants in the elimination final last year. In that game last year, they did have stars like Kennedy and Callum Mills out. Now they're back in with potentially a bit more of a stronger side. Will they get the job done over the Giants? Both teams have their star key forwards out as well. No Papley, no Tom Green. But from what I've seen in the preseason, the Giants seem to be playing well enough without him. They've got plenty of depth in that forward department. Bobby Hill, Tanner Bruin, Jake Riccardi had a great preseason campaign too. Then on the other hand, with the Swans, they are a very young, exciting team mixed perfectly with a bit of balance of veterans. I doubt Buddy will kick the 5 goals in round 1. He could get close, maybe he'll kick 3, or he could have a big game with 4, and then round 2 kick his 1000th goal there. But I'm going to be going with the Giants in a close encounter. I reckon it's going to be less than a kick, and the Giants will get it done by 4 points. Now for the Lions versus Port Adelaide at the Gabba. Port Adelaide did show a few question marks with their preseason campaign. I know it is only preseason, but then on the other hand, the Brisbane Lions absolutely smashed it. The Lions are personally a team that I reckon will win the Premiership Cup. I'm really thinking they'll be also the minor premiers. And considering this game's at the Gabba, Port don't really play the greatest at the Gabba last year. I'm pretty sure when these two teams played last year, the Lions absolutely smashed them. And because of that, I'm going to be continuing the trend. Lions will get a convincing win over Port, I believe, and they'll get the job done by around 26 points. Now for the Sunday games, kicking it off with the Hawks and North Melbourne at the MCG. Nice classic day game for the Hawks. Going to be an interesting matchup. Two teams that could possibly be in the bottom 4 this year, if not the bottom 2. Both teams in a very similar state as well on the rebuild, new coaches, and also very young and vibrant playing lists. Both teams weren't really able to flex their muscles too much in the preseason affairs. Hawks didn't really have a great performance against the Pies, nor really that too much well against the Tigers. I know, yes, Hawks did come back from around 70 points, but hey, that was the bloody VFL side. It's not the AFL side. While as North, obviously not the greatest display against the Demons, but they did play some good footy against the Swans. They were really up in there. They had a really good opportunity to hit the leader a few times. The Kangas did beat the Hawks back in round 9 or round 10, I believe, to get their first win of the season. But I might go with the safe option here. The Hawks playing at the MCG, they just seem to be probably that more experienced side compared to North. And hey, will North have a 1-0 start? It's kind of unlikely. I think the Hawks will get the job done here with a pretty solid win. Could be pretty close throughout the whole contest, but the Hawks will probably flex their muscles in the second half and win by around 35 points. Now for Adelaide versus Fremantle at the Adelaide Oval. This is going to be a really interesting matchup because Freo, a lot of teams are expecting they're going to be on the up this year, but let's remember they don't play the greatest outside of WA and away games. Whilst Adelaide, they obviously play their best footy at home at the fortress of Adelaide Oval. And with those factors being said, I might just go clinch a win here for the Adelaide Crows. They'll get the job done over Fremantle. Again, could be a really close game. Fremantle could hit the lead a few times, whilst Adelaide will probably, in the fourth quarter, play some brilliant football. Last year in round 1, they did it against the Cats at the Adelaide Oval. They played fantastic, and everybody was like, holy, could they be a team on the up this year? They didn't really turn out to be, but I can definitely see Adelaide having a good start to the season, beating a top 8 contention side of Fremantle, and they'll win it by, I reckon they'll get the job done and win by around a nice healthy 14 points. And for the final game of the round, we've got West Coast versus Gold Coast, the battle of the coasts. This is a very interesting matchup. You've got Eagles that are on the down, most likely. Gold Coast that could potentially be on the up. I have them being on the up, while many people have them for the spoon this year. But the Suns just impressed me so much with how they played in pre-season. I know, just pre-season, but just their game style, they were so convincing, and every time the opposition had ball in hand, there'd be 3 Suns players just going straight at the footy. They were relentless. They just caused the turnovers so quickly, so good. And compared that to the West Coast Eagles, they had a good game against Fremantle, but just they're not really as more of a pressure side compared to how Gold Coast produced their pressure against the Cats. Because of that, I might tip the Suns. Of course, the major factor is it is at Optus Stadium. It is a massive fortress. West Coast should be getting the job done here, but I'm going to be going for an upset. The Gold Coast Suns will pull off a ripping win over the Eagles, and yeah, it could be possibly the Eagles have a good start in the first quarter, but Gold Coast will saw things back. They just catch you off guard. That's honestly how I see the Suns, and they pull off upset wins left, right and centre throughout the year, and the Suns will get the job done by 11 points. So everybody, there were my tips for the very first round of the 2022 AFL season. Not too sure how long this video will be. It could be a bit of a long one, but I 100% guarantee it won't be this long because I went over some important information at the start of the video. So if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. That'd be much appreciated. Footy's finally back. I'm really keen. Hopefully yous are too. And yeah, that's it from me, fellas, and I'll see you later.